It's time to get your paintbrushes and palettes ready as we take a look at Canvas from Road to Infamy Games. In this game, you are all painters in a painting competition. So it's time to use your inspiration and imagination in order to get those paintings with the best colors and elements. At the start of the game, you will get 4 of these inspiration tokens as well as 3 canvases. Though they look different, they do not matter. They're just help to look pretty and to be in a sleeve to hold your cards. On your turn, you have 2 possible actions. You can either draw a card from the lineup or complete a painting. We're going to start with drawing a card from the lineup because that's the main way to get the resources to complete the paintings. You can take 1 card from the lineup. The first card is free, but if you want any other card, you must place an inspiration token on each card you skip over. So if I want this 3rd card, I put 1 on those 2 spaces. If I take a card with an inspiration token, I add that to my pool. If, for whatever reason, I do not have inspiration tokens to place, I must take the farthest left card. Regardless, once you take a card, you will move over the card to the right, 1, and take 1 from this deck. A quick note, these transparent cards come with a thin plastic layer to protect them. While you shuffle, they may start to peel. That is no problem. Feel free to take them off. It makes them look very pretty. The other action you can do is to complete a painting. That will be using the cards that you picked up from this lineup and putting them into a canvas. It will require a minimum of 3 cards. However, if you start your turn with 5 of these, you have to make a painting. To make a painting, you will take 3 of these cards and arrange them such that you have the symbols you want to see because sometimes they can overlap each other, so make sure you have them in the order you want, and you will slide them into one of your canvases. You will read the name out loud, such as Graceful Mistake here, and then try to earn ribbons. That's where these come in. At the start of the game, you're going to choose 4 random goals, or maybe some based on the scenarios they have in the back of the book. They will reward ribbons based on certain factors, usually either elements, these 4 symbols, colors, and placements and matching. Now, in this case, we actually have 6 elements, every color showing, a square next to a sun symbol, as well as 3 in a row. So this one actually earns 1 of each ribbon, which is very nice. That might not always be the case, but it's still very nice when it happens. In addition, you'll want to make sure you earn multiple of the same ribbon with your other paintings. The way they score is if you have this many ribbons at the end of the game of that color, you will earn that many points. So if I only have the 1 green ribbon, I'll only get 1 point. If I earn green ribbons on my other paintings, I will earn 9 points. You also have these gray ribbons. These are bonus ribbons that are always worth 2 points apiece. You earn these from specific elements, such as this one, which gives a gray ribbon for every sun symbol in the painting it is in. So sometimes it may be good to slot that in to give up one of these if you can earn a lot of gray ribbons. The game will continue until you have finished 3 of your paintings. Once you have done so, you are out of the game. If other people have not finished their paintings, they will continue until they finish their 3 paintings. Then you will total up your points from ribbons, possibly from this mini expansion. If you use it, there are competitive and cooperative goals that give some extra bonus points. And whoever has the most points is the winner. This game is a simple drafting game when you are all picking from that center lineup, possibly putting down some of your inspiration tokens to get later cards, or maybe picking up cards with those tokens to use for later. Now, there is, and I think the bigger component is the see-through cards and combining them. We've seen this before in Mystic Vale, and it is still a joy here in that you're combining them to make stronger cards for your deck. In this, you're really just sort of layering them to get the most points out of your painting. And you only have so many cards because once you have 5, you have to make a painting. So it's really about maximizing your picks in order to make sure you can get that painting that has a lot of ribbons, or at the very least, you're consistent, because the more ribbons you earn in one color, the better you can do. On the multiplayer front, you will be making some interesting choices, especially when it comes to those tokens. I think will be the big thing, because oftentimes, in order to maybe get that final card you need, it's going to be maybe 3, 4, 5 cards down. So you're going to have to use a lot of your tokens to get there. So there's a good chance you're going to be thinking about, do I take this card even though I probably won't want to use it because it's got 3 of those tokens on there? That's really nice, and therefore also depriving other people from that. Or do you just try to hope for the best and hope that the cards you need will be in those first two slots, which are usually pretty easy to get when it comes to your turn. It is very interesting because you're forced to make a painting when you hit 5. So once you hit 5 that first time, you're really on a timer. And you're like, even though you're going to use 3, that means you have 2. So unless you like those 2 from before, you better make sure those next 3 picks are important. In the example, I made one that did collect all 4 ribbons. That is, I don't think, very often, especially in the multiplayer format, because someone's going to get that extra sun you need. And the other big issue is, depending on those goals, some of them may require, like, you need this specific element. And not because everyone's drafting them from you. It could just be they don't show up that often. I've had that happen. And it's a little bit annoying when it doesn't feel like it's not even that you are being hate drafted. It's just that no one's getting them. Or that one time you get it, it's going to be covered up by another element if you want to match. That's another bit of an annoying thing. All that said, while all those problems are very annoying when it comes to the points, I feel you're going to enjoy this game a lot more if you're more of the kind of personality who's happy when you make something versus trying to get the points. Because it is a lot of fun to decide, oh, these elements work so well together. This is such a cool painting. I love this. And you just have so much fun collecting the right ones to slide in. And if they work for points, that's even better. Now, in terms of the single player mode, you'll get that chance a lot more, especially in the Vincent mode. There are actually 2 modes of single player. There's the Vincent mode and puzzle mode. Vincent mode has you play against an AI technically called Vincent, but the way he works is he's just going to flip all the inspiration tokens in the air, and whichever one's end face up, he'll place on cards. So it's just like you're not exactly sure what card he's going to take as long as he has some of those tokens. So really, that one is more of a just collect what you want. So that one's pretty easy. And I like to consider that one more of a fun mode because you can usually just get like, all right, I got a pretty good score here. I'm having fun. I'm getting to craft the cards I want. Not that that's a bad thing. In fact, that's great for this mode. The other one is puzzle mode. This one is definitely more for those who are really want the challenge or really focus on the maximizing points, because it adds this interesting twist. The way the game works here in the single player mode is you have the tokens still, but instead of simply placing them on the cards, let's say if you, once again, like the overhead, you want that third card, you're going to put them in a pile to the left. And the cards you pass over are removed from the game, meaning you won't have a chance to get those cards later on. Now, you'll be able to get more tokens when you take the first card, but the point being is you're going to have to think more carefully about, do I want that card because of that card may come later? It's just that the card that is third is better for what I have now in my hand. And I felt there was a bit more of a challenge there. The pace of both the solo modes and the multiplayer mode can really shift depending on the goals. And one thing that's really cool is on the back of the rulebook here, they actually have different goals set up. Yes, you can just go with random, but you could choose some of these if you want more of a simple game because people are new to playing, or something a bit more complex that really focuses on something in particular. And of course, at the bottom, there are also achievements. This is something I really enjoy in games. I think my favorite one so far I've seen is in Calico. There aren't as much here, but it's a cool idea where you can sort of not just play the game, but think, maybe I'm going to try to get those gray ribbons. And with that final page that includes the variants and the achievements, I think that helps make sure Canvas stays interesting every time it comes to hit the table. Crits and misses for Canvas. Crits. The transparent cards are fantastic on both a visual and mechanical sense. Whether it's how well something will score depending on what can be seen versus what's covered, or if it's how your painting turns out once you have all 3 cards layered on top of each other. These scenarios and achievements make sure the game doesn't get too stale too fast as you play this game more often. The components are fantastic and adorable. Plus, the box is designed so you can hang it on your wall. Misses. I do think the visuals carry a lot for this game. If it didn't have the transparent art, I can see some people finding this game maybe a bit too simplistic. You will only earn points from 3 paintings, so each one matters significantly. If you had a painting that did not score well because you did not get the right cards to come out or some other issue, it can feel pretty bad and hard to recover from compared to other players who are doing even just all right. I mentioned the crit, but in case you're curious, you can see it right over my shoulder there. You can hang it on the wall, which is fantastic, especially for something that has such a pretty cover. Doesn't even have the name there. Perfect for a piece of art. In fact, I wish some more board games you could do that with. Though maybe a little bit harder depending on how heavy it is. All that said, in terms of single player, I actually think this does a little bit better there because the multiplayer aspect almost feels a little bit like I'm just playing with other people and we're just comparing scores afterwards. You might as well just each play a single player. There are plenty of games out there where everyone's just playing their own solitaire game. And yes, you have that central draft pool, but rarely was I thinking, oh, I'm gonna take this because I don't want you to have that. The competitive goal that I mentioned in the mini expansion, so I don't want to put too much on there, does help. But in the end, it really was just trying to make sure I can make my best paintings. Even getting those inspiration tokens, I was never thinking like, I'm not going to let you get those. It was really more, I'm running low, so I should probably take that while it's available. Once again, you could argue that, oh, someone else could take them. Like, yes, but Vincent does that in the single player mode or the puzzle mode. So once again, this is, I'd say, still has some fun things, especially if you're doing the multiplayer mode, you get to see everyone's pictures. And I think that's where this game, one of the reasons this game shines is just visually, it is beautiful. In the single player mode, it is fun to try to see how well you do with different goals and your scores, doing their achievements. But if you really want that competitive sort of interacting with each other back and forth, this probably is not the game for you. If you're looking for a more casual game, whether it be for yourself or just having people around the table and having fun chatting while you're making some pretty pictures, then this is a perfect game for you. Plus, it won't take up shelf space technically because you can just hang it on the wall. I'd love to hear your thoughts on Canvas. What do you think about this game? Do you prefer it more solo, or do you really enjoy to play this with others and see how well you can all do against each other? You can let me know in those comments down below. But until then, thank you so much for watching. I'm Will, and this is Roll for Crit.
It's time to say so long and farewell. Before you say goodbye, please hit that like and subscribe. It really helps us out. And if you can, support us on Patreon. If you want to spend more time with us, we go live on both Twitch and our Roll for Crit channel, Roll for Crit Live. And those are more longer form videos. There'll be links down below, and we'd love to have you join us.